Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another show. My name is Tyler, and I'm here with Matt, the founder of ORATS. ORATS is an options analytics platform built on top of over 15 years of historical options data. Our dashboard is integrated with Tradier, meaning you can research and discover trades on our platform and then seamlessly send them through to your Tradier brokerage account. Today on the show, we're going to go over how you can get live and historical options data from ORATS. Matt, do you want to share your screen and get us started?
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, let's back up a little bit. Data is, of course, the thing that we're known for, the most important thing, getting that right. I was a market maker and backed traders, and we worked on getting our proprietary calculations in order. We started with near end of day data that goes back to 2007. And our SMB system that calculates smooth skews and gives good theoretical values and importantly good Greeks. You have to draw a good line. You have to solve for put call parity and get a residual yields, have good dividends in order to get good data in the end. So we do all that and we deliver it in a multitude of ways, and that's what we want to talk about today, Tyler.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to go over all the different options that retail traders as well as professionals can get data from us. We serve a lot of different clients, and there's basically something for everybody depending on your means and what kind of granularity you're looking for, and we can go over all those different things.
Right. And we have a lot of documentation. So if you're an individual, the way just to get at us, the easiest way is to get an API. If you're not a programmer, you could still go to and get historical data near end of day, and then get it delivered via CSVs and zip files. So that's another way. But most people come to us via APIs, and you get a token. You get 20,000 requests per month, and a request is you can get a huge amount of data. It's just every call to our back end. So on our dashboard, we have a resources page, an API console, so you could see the calls that you make. So you could say strikes by expiration by Oprah, but live strikes, delayed data. We have just a multitude in historical data. So I could go back, and get these are all the fields. Again, this is the API console in our dashboard at .orats.com, and it tells you how to make the call, and it tells you how to format it, and you could go get the results right away. So it's a very good way to see how to get these endpoints, Tyler.
Yeah, the API console is a good way to explore like the different calls and then test them out in the sidebar. And I also use Auto to sort of help me write the API calls as well. So like if I want to write it in Python, I can say, hey, I want to query the strikes history for this particular thing, and then it'll help me kind of make the code for that. So that's kind of an interesting thing I like to do with the API.
Yeah. So that's Auto. He'll go work on that. So yeah, Auto's awesome. And so that's kind of our near end of day. The reason we do near end of day is because at the end of the day, the market makers, of which I used to be one, will widen out their markets, and so we take a near end of day. We're known for our back testing, so we use that near end of day for our back testing as well. So yeah, we deliver that via FTP or via API, and then now we could talk about our intraday data, Tyler.
Right. So if we look at the pricing, so we have three tiers, right? So we have the delayed for 99, and these are all the individual retail subscriptions. So we're not touching the pro yet, but this is just the individual delayed data API. But you're kind of jumping to the intraday API. In the middle, we have the live. So for $100 more a month, you can get all of the endpoints in the delayed, the same history, except now it's live data with around 10 seconds of delay versus 15 minutes of delay.
Yeah, not even 10 seconds for that's an average. Sometimes the SPX, NDX take a while, but most stocks are done with a sub-second, so that gets out there pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this has been one of our fastest growing products, and it's also really easy to get entitled for the live data too. So you subscribe, you sign a few agreements, and you're in, and you can start making requests immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, so and the documentation's all here, and it's like you said, it's quite easy to get, and this is the easiest to use. And I started using Claude in VB code, and I could even do this, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's you're right. I did skip over the live data API, but why don't you tell people the difference between a live intraday API? We had this question yesterday.
Yeah.
People ask us questions here, so feel free to ask us questions in the chat here, or you could ask Otto here. There's a lot of ways to get at us. We're support at orats.com. We had a record sign-up day yesterday, so a lot of people are coming in and chatting, getting good support, and a lot of happy customers out there. But what's the difference between the live data API and the live intraday API, Tyler?
Yeah, so the only difference is in the level of granularity of the historical data. So the delayed data API and the live data API both have end of day historical data that's gathered 14 minutes before the close. And you can query this going back to 2007. For the intraday API, you get minute by minute granularity of historical options chains for all the same symbols going back to August 2020.
Right.
And so that's the only difference. We say live intraday API because it includes the live data API, and then it just kind of tacks on the minute by minute data.
Yeah. What if you didn't want the live, but you wanted the history?
Yeah. So if you didn't want the live, but you wanted the intraday history, you could reach out to us and we'll give you a custom plan kind of somewhere in between that's a little less than the live intraday API. But we don't put those specialty options on our website just because that would be too many things.
Right.
But we're definitely happy to offer special plans based on your specific use case.
So these are all individuals, and an individual is someone working alone for their own account. So there's Oprah makes it's not that you have to prove that you're not pro. You have to prove you're individual to Oprah. So we have to be very careful, and we want you to sign up without if you have a excavating business, don't sign up with your business email because that's what Oprah looks at. So if you come in here, have your personal email and not be affiliated with any firms or anything like that. If you are, you could still sign up, but then you have to be a professional. And so why don't we talk about this a little bit, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's great you bring that up because we've been focusing on that a lot just because of the regulatory concerns. So an individual is someone who's working in their own capacity, not on behalf of a firm, not with a team. And so if you are doing that, you have to sign up as a professional. So professional has a few more options because we can get a little bit more granular. In addition to all the same things that we offer the individuals, professionals can also get derived data. So, a professional who's getting all the same data as an individual, they're going to have to pay licensing fees and charges to Oprah and the other exchanges because you're getting delayed or live bid, ask, price, size, or volume. So that's what's considered Oprah data or Opera data. It's the bid, ask, price, size, and volume. If you don't need that, and you just want implied volatilities, Greeks, theoretical values, etc., you can get the derived APIs, which basically strip the data APIs of the bid ask price, size, and volume, and leave you with all of the other great things that ORATS does, like the market summaries and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tyler. That's the derived data, and we made that for people that are perhaps making a product or can't really afford the whole Oprah deep dive, because how much is it if you wanted to like a live Oprah feed?
Yeah, so
for their fees. I mean, you're seeing our fees, but what about for their fees, Tyler?
yeah, I mean, there's a few big numbers that stand out. If you want a non-display license of delayed or live Oprah data, it would be at least $2,000 for that non-display use. And you can check these out on Oprah's website and their fee schedule. If you just look up on Google, Oprah data fee schedule, it pops up right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first big charge that's going to get that you're going to get hit with, and most people need it for some sort of non-display use. You're getting the data from us and you're using it to calculate profit and loss. That's considered non-display use. So any sort of calculation that you're doing in your code or on the server, that's non-display, and you're going to be hit with that $2,000 a month.
That's a big number.
Yeah. If there is an exception, so if you're using the delayed data, so 15 minutes delayed, for internal use only. So like if you're like a hedge fund or a small group of people, you can use it for internal use only, that delayed data API that Matt highlighted, and not be hit with any charges, just a formal agreement. So that's kind of the one exception. But if you're planning to redistribute, or if you want that live data, it's going to be very different.
Gotcha. So, and it's something like $600 a month or something to Oprah, right?
Yeah, it kind of depending on the specifics of your use case and which screens you're redistributing it to and that kind of thing. It can vary, but the only thing that's void of any charges is this delayed data API for internal use, and it actually is our most popular offering to our pros.
And derived, right?
Yeah, well, derived is I would say the delayed Oprah data for internal use is the most popular Oprah data offering.
Right.
But we do have several users on the derived offering as well because of the avoidance of the fees.
And you get history.
Yeah, and you can get intraday history with that too.
Yeah. So that's the way. That's a very reasonable number to get. A lot of intraday. A lot of intraday history. And then what's this request per month, Tyler?
Yeah, so that's the amount of times that you can query the API every month. And a request, we get asked this a lot, like what is a request? A request is just a single GET request to one of the API endpoints that's listed on the public docs. Some of the endpoints you can request multiple tickers at a time or multiple trade dates at a time, and you can kind of get more for your money at that point. But it's only for a specific endpoint. So, but that would still be considered one call. So it's not the amount of data you get back from the response. It's just an individual GET request to that endpoint.
Okay, so I'm showing my screen. We do have the ability to use Excel and get data in there. I'm right now calling all the SMB summaries for every single of the almost 6,000 symbols on a certain date in history, right? So, and it also shows the current data in this particular response. So this is considered one hit, even though it's 12,000 rows or something like that. That's why it's taken a while on my computer. So that's what you get 100,000 of them. So that's a lot. Usually it's very quick, but my Excel's got a few things going.
If we get asked all the time, like, hey, 100,000 or 1 million, so that's not going to be enough for me. You can purchase additional API hits during the month, and we can also get you on a plan with more. And it's also not very well known, but I do also want to add, we have snapshot API endpoints that aren't publicly available on our documentation, but you can get permission for them if your use case requires it. So let's just say that you need, for every minute of the day, you need 50 symbols, the entire options chain for 50 symbols. And you calculate that, each individual request is going to add up to like 10 million API hits. We can give you access to a snapshot endpoint, which will just give you the entire chain for all symbols in one API call. It's a little heavier rate limited, and you can't just query that every second, but you can query it about like every 10 seconds or so and do just fine. So we have that available on a per request basis.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So this is a typical, this is the queues, this is the strikes endpoint that I pulled into Excel. And you could tell that this has bids, ask, and size, and volume, and all that. So this is the full Oprah call that we're making here. And then we calculate our smooth volatility, but we also calculate mid and bid asks and all that, and gamma, deltas, and everything. So this is one call. So that I just wanted to show you that that's an example of one call. And this is one call as well. So
you can get a lot for it.
Yeah, it might not sound a lot, but that's a lot. So okay, so let's talk about intraday. So that's minute by minute going back to 2020, right? August 2020.
Yep.
So that's amazing that you could get all that. It's a huge data set, right? Like it's terabytes, 25 terabytes or something like that, or more. So you could go, build a database based on that. Some people will actually, so there's another way that we could deliver this data if you want to get all the snapshots and really build a full database. Tyler, you want to explain that?
Yeah. So you're talking about the data sets that we offer?
Yeah, I'm actually talking about a delivery through S3. This is a delivery through APIs. So you could go on AWS Cloud Services, and in our region, which is Northeast region, you could set up a folder, and we will put this massive amount of data in that folder for you, and then you download it from there.
Yeah, this is a really cool product. So if you go to the historical data dropdown on our site and then select the 1 minute intraday data, you can see kind of all the fields that you're going to get. It's a subset of the fields that you get from our API, but they're like the most popular one. Like you get all the Greeks, the IVs, the theoretical values. You don't get any of the market summarizations, but you get the important stuff, all the options chain goodies.
Yeah, and it's huge. This is near 50 terabytes.
Yeah, it's massive. It's growing all the time. And we can transfer this to you through an S3 bucket synchronization process. We have an S3 bucket that's getting populated every minute of the day. We'll sync it to yours. So every time ours gets populated, yours will get populated.
Now the problem
that's if you have the recurring data.
Yeah. If you have to buy, but like you could just get one time and get it up to today, and you have about a couple of weeks to get all this data off. But then you could buy recurring data if you want to update it, and keep that going. So the problem is this though, right?
Yeah. So it's pretty costly, and it has to do with transferring the data out, what are called egress fees, for basically taking the data out of S3 and onto your personal hard drive or onto your company's data storage center. That can get costly. So that can range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, even more. I think it's probably more now that we have more data in there. So those are definitely costs that you need to research before buying, the last 5 years of intraday data from us.
And, also this is, just sitting there storage too. Like, I mean, we pay so much to AWS.
Yeah.
So, you really have to be careful. So, based on this, Tyler, we decided to give our clients another option for getting this data. And that is, yeah, go ahead.
But I actually, before you go on that, I want to say that there is an option to get individual symbols from us.
All right.
So if you want anywhere from 1 to 10 symbols, like if you're just looking for SPY or SPX or both, you can request those from us, and we'll charge you less than the 1,500 here, and you'll also have far less transfer fees. I believe it's on the order of like $20 per symbol or something like that. So obviously significantly less fees from AWS, and we'll charge you probably a little bit more than half of that 1,500 if you just want 1 to 10 symbols.
Yeah, good point. All right, now can we talk about our new product? One of our reveals, our teases that we're in the process of getting, and we want to hear your feedback. Leave them in the comment or just email us at support@orats.com. So why don't you tell them about it, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, it was your idea, and it was a great idea. So it's if you want all of this at more than 10 symbols, but you don't want to pay the AWS fees, we're creating an option for you where we can deliver you a hard drive that, like, literally ship it to you in the mail, and then you can basically plug in and download. We're just going to give you the hard drive, and then you can download it from there. So it's very manual, but it saves you so much money on the egress fees from AWS.
Right, and
that's the big reveal.
And if you want to keep the disk drives, they're pretty expensive, so it's like $1,000 for the disk drives themselves. But you could return it to us and not pay those fees. And the price should be somewhat similar to what you're getting just here, but you're going to save at least $2,000 of AWS fees. So we're pretty excited about this. It does take a bit of technology. We haven't finished it all yet. And we also have available 2-minute data, so back to 2015. So that's 10 years of intraday data that we could deliver on these disks for a reasonable price. Reasonable, based on what our competitors are charging, and reasonable with what the egress fees are now that you could use this disk system, Tyler.
Yeah, and what I love about this new product that we're building is the costs for our customers is not getting any cheaper over time. Like, this is only a growing cost basis for you guys, right? Like, the every single day that the data grows, you're going to have to pay AWS, or we've looked into other storage providers. Every time that you add more data, you have to pay more. And so that can get very cost prohibitive as time goes on. When we first started offering this 1-minute history, this wasn't really a big issue because we only were offering it for like a year or two. But now it's 5 years later, here we are, and it's really cost prohibitive. It's thousands of dollars, and we're also, I mean, I don't know if you just teased it out, Matt. The other thing we're releasing is the same data set, but on a 2-minute basis, going back to 2015. And so, with that new offering, it was almost imperative that we do a new form of delivery. Otherwise, no one's going to sign up for this, because the cost for the data storage on AWS is more than twice what you're paying us.
Yeah, and with AI, and we're getting a lot more requests. People are able to ingest this data and make meaning out of it, and so we're excited to get it to our users in a cost-effective manner. So again, we're a month or so away from delivering this, but if you have pre-orders, let us know. We want to get this out there to you. Let us know the feedback on the delivery, and how it uploads and all that. But we're excited about it. It's a massive data set. At ORATS, we've always wanted to give institutional data to M tools to our clients, and I think this is going to be one of those, Tyler.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome because the average trader does not have thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for data, right? But we're trying to get this to you at the absolute lowest price and the same quality data that you get from the APIs and in the dashboard, but delivered to you on a bulk basis so that you can train AI models on it or machine learn on the indicators, whatever you want to do with it, at the most retail friendly price we can give you.
And we test the data too. And this is all SMB data too. It's not just raw data. This is a big difference. Like, we have very good Greeks, very good information, amazing technology that's gone into this. Very costly, hundreds of thousands of dollars or more,
Yes.
probably getting near $1 million on this. So it's a crazy amount. But luckily our client base is growing, and it allows us to offer these types of products to people. So we're pretty excited about it, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the uptake on the disk delivery. I know we've gotten a few requests for it, so as well as the 2-minute data back to 2015. I think that's going to be pretty popular as well.
Yeah,
I mean that's going to be over 10 years of data pretty soon.
Yeah,
Intraday data.
Yeah, all SMB, smooth market values, theoreticals, Greeks, implied volatilities. You have it. So,
and you know what we're kind of undervaluing here, we're doing this data on thousands of symbols, right? Like, this isn't just SPX. Like, this I can't think of. I mean, there are very few places you can get some of these more unique symbols. For like there are a few other places that offer SPX data, intraday data, or SPY intraday data, but rarely do you see this level of historical intraday granularity for this many symbols.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, so I mean, we're excited. We're in a great place. We hope that you guys like it as much as we do. Again, reach out to us at support at ORATS. Give us a ask on auto for things. You could go to our chat here if you have a question. So yeah, let us know if you're interested.
Great. All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for showing off the new products that we're offering, the disk delivery and the 2-minute history. And thanks for helping kind of explain the difference between the API and the S3 delivery, as well as the different ways you can get the API for pros and retail traders. So I think we covered a lot. If you guys have any follow-up questions, just tell us in the comments or write to us at support@orats.com. So thank you, Matt, and thank you, Trader, for hosting us. We'll be back again next week. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want to see on the show, please let us know. Until then, thanks.
Thanks, Tyler.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.